Well, Timo, great to see you again. Congrats. After almost 10 years, you got the CEO seat. How does it feel
Thank
so far?
you. Thank
How-
you, Chris. Much appreciated.
yeah, how does it feel so far?
It's very good. It's very exciting. I've had like three different jobs in the last 9 months, 10 months, while we've been working on a demerger of a company, right? It's a pretty tough way to create a new company that you list. They say that the initial public offering is the hardest, but demerger is not an easy route either. So we had a company which was split into two. So that was going through all the demerger, then building up a completely new management team, and the company structure overall. And then there's the normal business.
There's everything else you got to
So
keep afloat. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. The world doesn't wait. So it's been busy times, but let's say that the excitement and the interest in all of it. This is like a once in a lifetime experience to go through an exercise like this through demerger. That it's been an exhilarating experience, I would say.
That's a lot in 9 months. That's a lot.
It is. When I saw the project plan for the first time in the beginning of October 2021, I thought that we're never going to make this by the end of June, because we would be breaking practically records over here in Finland, how quickly companies have been able to get to NASDAQ from one company and make it in two. But we did it successfully.
Did you know they were fast tracking you since you left? I mean, yeah.
This was 13 months ago when we started talking about me taking over the consumer business unit then of F-Secure. And my then, the person who was hiring me was the CEO, and he said that there is an option that we might spin off, the consumer side of the business as a separate entity, and a year from now you just might be a CEO of a listed company. I said, yeah, right. And here we are.
Here we are. Well, you and I almost worked together about 7 years ago to help find your replacement to run North America. Brian Murray, thank you for staying. If you're watching this, thank you, Timo, for trusting me in that first search. And you've a lot's changed since leaving Basking Ridge. How much do you miss New Jersey?
I have to say that we had an extremely fun team to work with. We were gelling together very well, and I think that we were not only professionals at what we were doing, but we also had great fun together, and we had personalities which were complementing each other. I miss that. When you find that kind of teams where you feel that good, you always look back on those days. That was a good time. And naturally, we're building the same kind of thing right now. So
you've got quite a bit of travel coming up. So you've got global response. Where's your next destination? Where you traveling to next?
Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Singapore, and Philippines.
How has all this journey in the last 10 years affected the family, moving and fast tracking you, public company, affected the family?
If I even go back, my daughter, eldest, was 3 weeks old when we moved to Sweden. My son was born in Spain. Our two, the other son and other daughter, were born in Finland, but our youngest, the daughter, went through high school in the US. So it's been quite a ride. And while I was in the US for 4.5 years, three of our four kids were over here in Finland, so we certainly missed them. But in some of these things, they've come along. The last time they stayed behind, most of them, because they were going to college. I think it's been good. We made it work out, and God bless, there are tools like Zoom and
FaceTime,
messengers and other video means to get in touch. Our eldest was 17 when she went to Chile as an exchange student. Wow. That's practically the other side of the world, looking at it from Finland.
Right? That's a long haul.
But we were able to keep in touch. That was great. So no, it's all right. And now we're really happy to be closer together. Not that we would see each other more than once in 2 weeks, but it used to be like once in 12 months.
That's great. So for those who want to follow in your footsteps someday into global cyber leadership, what were those pivotal moments in the last 10 years that you feel like helped define your career?
Yeah, I would say that the point for me has always been that I haven't applied for jobs. I've I've been asked to do different kinds of things. Some of those things have, been lateral moves. Some of those things have taken me one or two clicks above where I used to be. When I actually came to the US, I readily took a position which was 2 clicks below where I had been. But there was interest in it for me. I learned something new, and I don't know if it's for everybody, but for me, the thing has been that go where the flow is taking you, and if there are truly things that excite you and you feel passionate about, and you can learn something new, a completely new kind of dimension about something, then I've gone for it.
Yeah.
And for example, when I was in the US for 4.5 years, the thing for me was that, if you think about the world of technology, what's the Super League? Or in soccer terms, what's the Premier League? It's the US.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see, how does one go about doing business in the US? And that was very exciting experience for me. When I returned to my home country in Finland, I took on a global role as the head of all commercial operations, sales, marketing, pre-sales, inside sales, and so forth for a completely new business unit in F-Secure called Managed Detection and Response. And that was like the most cybersecurity you can be. You're protecting enterprise customers from hands-on keyboard attacks by hackers out there. And I just wanted to get to the core of what cybersecurity is all about. And that was a good ride. That was 2 years. And now, of course, being the CEO of a listed company is once again different kind of a perspective, and we're carving like the new future now for F-Secure. F-Secure is dead, long live the new F-Secure.
That's right.
So this is once again a very exciting journey ahead.
Yeah. Well, no one really gets to the top without a few scars along the way. Can you share a war story or two?
Yeah, I have one right here, by the way. So I would say that the kind of scars that I've got, when you feel that there's a time for you to move on to something new, something different, for instance, to take that next learning step or exciting journey, the stars don't always align. They don't always align, and you may feel that I'm stuck in a certain type of a setup because of the way things are around you, and you can't necessarily change them. Then what do? How do you react to that situation, right? In a way, you are where you are, and you have a job, which is like basically, it's been very interesting. For some reason, you would like to move on. What do you do? So I've gritted my teeth, and I felt that, hey, I'll continue doing this wholeheartedly. One of these days, the good things are going to come to me, and that's what I've done. And and I would say that in a couple of places, I've got, in a way, I've been stuck in a certain type of a place for a year, even two, a bit too long. But I've decided that I will not start throwing my toys around and start making a mess of it. Much rather I just, heads down, do everything you can, and the good things will come. And
they will.
I think it's pretty easy to say that the good things have happened.
Right.
It's been quite a time since I was a CEO of one startup, and that didn't work out. That was like, what was it now? Maybe something like 15 years ago or so. That was a startup that didn't work out for different reasons, and it took me a good 2 years to gather my self-confidence back together and get my groove and be me fully. But once again, I needed to go one step down,
right,
to start going back up again.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's just that be humble and do what you need to do, and over time, people will notice that it worked out well.
What were some of the other tougher lessons you've learned in becoming a leader, a global leader?
Um, you can't portray any kind of image of yourself that you're not. I think this is just clear. You know, when I was a young person, I was already running at times relatively sizable teams. You know, hundreds of people and so forth. And you know, I was maybe 34 years old and so forth. I wasn't ready for that, and then I wasn't fully me. You know, I was doing the right kind of things, and my head was in it, and my heart was in it. But you know, I wasn't as open and transparent about the challenges or problems that we had in our hands. But now that I've got the scars, I would say that the thing that I do is that I have this illusion that I am 100% myself when I'm at work, and when I'm at home, when I'm with my kids or with my wife, or I'm with partners or customers or with our staff or my leadership team, you know, I am the same person. It's not like separate realities, and it makes my life much lighter because I am what I am, and you know, I'm a bit of a bubbly person to be a Finn, who are known to be a bit more reserved, but I am that kind of a person, and I just, you know, let it show, and you know, most people appreciate that, and the word that I often hear is authenticity.
That's the other question. How else would your team describe if you were to sit your team down and ask, hey, what's my style? How would they describe your style? So authentic.
Yeah, authentic would be one thing. Being able to communicate in a way that is a, you know, I through stories I make things come to life, and people have it. It's easier for people to, in a way, relate to what we are about as a company, where we're heading, and why, the purpose of what we all do. I don't underestimate any country in the world, but over here in Finland, making money is, I'm not saying it's irrelevant, but it's not the primary thing that people think about in their work. There has to be a purpose. People feel very strongly about that, and you know, people see in me that I'm passionate and very dedicated and committed to what I do, and I communicate in a way, for instance, in stories that people get it, and apparently it's quite that the energy apparently, you know, reaches out around me. So that's a nice thing to know. I'll leave it there.
So now that you're at the helm, what do you see for the next 10 years? Like what's the forecast over the next 10 years?
For the company, for me personally?
Yeah, both.
Okay. For the company, definitely it's helping everybody in the organization to grow to their full potential, to be the best version of themselves. That's like the main thing. If I can help my team and everybody in the company to be the best version of themselves and raise the bar to what good looks like, we're going to be in a good place. We're roughly 400 people right now. And if 400 people raise the bar about what good looks like, that has an effect that our customers and partners will see. My philosophy is very much that happy employees make happy customers. It starts from your own people and how you treat them and how you appreciate them. And when they are happy at what they do and when they are fulfilling their own dreams in our company, it will show. Everybody will see it. And that's what I want our folks to be glowing towards the outside world. But we gotta, it's always a journey. And step by step we go towards this. And then, you know, but it's really about the people. That's what it's all about. And then when we get that right, once again, good things will follow on the partner and customer front. I will not go into the wonderful plans we have with regards to our solutions and offering and our channel strategies and so forth. But I would just say that the most important thing is that when people look back 5 or 10 years from now, they feel that, boy, I would never have believed that I've grown to be this person as an individual and as a professional. Then we've done a great job. And for me personally, I just want to be, 5 to 10 years from now, I want to be observing, less hands-on at the marvelous things that the people are actually doing. And there is less and less for me need to get into any of the decision-making or the details, because they are already very much informed captains of their own work.
That's one of the big questions I get from other CEOs around culture and retention. Let's talk about retention. How do you create a culture where people are so happy they would not take a call from a headhunter like me? How do you create?
I think they should take a call from headhunters like you, by the way, because you know that when you have choices and you decide to stay, you're much more, your heart is much more in it. Right. If you never get any kind of offers, how do you know?
How do you know if it's real?
Still
That's true. That's true.
But anyways, how do you create a culture? Just thinking about your own people first. I can't say much else. So we need to help our people grow to the best abilities that they have. If they have a leadership or managerial aspiration, we need to support them on that path. If they're on an expert path, subject matter expert, there's another one. If there's technology, if there's cybersecurity skills, if there's sales skills, and so forth, we need to help them move along these paths. It's very much in the Nordic culture that the default value is that you trust people. Mm-hmm. You don't have to gain anybody's trust. That's the default. You can screw it up.
Sure.
If you don't deliver on promise, or if you're make believing things that are not for real.
Yeah.
But you show trust towards people, and they will. It's like a mirror. Or a forest where you shout, it shouts back.
Right.
It mirrors the good things, mirror back to you, and you show trust. You support people in their careers. Something that is talked about a lot right now is diversity, inclusion.
Yep.
And that technology has been a very male-oriented business in the past.
Especially cyber.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We have to work, and we have to work hard to turn this around. Absolutely. Really, really hard. Mm-hmm. And, maybe 5-10 years ago, we felt that, there are not, for instance, women applying for certain kinds of jobs. There are not younger people or from different races, religions, ethnicities, and so forth applying for jobs. So it's not our problem. They're not applying. No, not so. You actually have to do things actively to make your culture look like one where these people want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Everybody has a lack of talent these days, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And unless you're able to show that, if you come over here, you're part of the team from day one. You will feel at home from day one, and people will have your back, mm-hmm. right? And I think that this has been ingrained already in F-Secure culture for a long, long time. When I worked with people from Asia, it's a bit different things. But for instance, in the US, in Latin America, the kind of thing that people have appreciated in our culture is that you don't need to know the person who you need support from somewhere else in the organization, anywhere in the world. For instance, in the headquarters over here in Finland, you send them an email, you send them a chat message or do a video call, whatever, they will help you.
That's awesome.
Even though there's nothing in it for them. And this happens like time and time and time again. And people actually do anything in their power. They work long hours, they go out of their way, they leave whatever they were working on when you have something important in your hands. When they feel this, they feel that this is special. And it's not like a me culture where people are just trying to optimize everything for their own benefit. That feels good. It really feels good. And this is pretty typical in Nordics, but
Mhm.
not necessarily in some other corners of the world. And
Yeah.
this is what people have appreciated. Another thing that for us is important that we have 400 people in the company right now, so slightly less than 800 kilos of brain power. Um, if we can harness all of those 800 kilos to be taking initiative and coming up with ideas and actually running with them, being informed captains and understanding where the overall direction is, where we want to go and why, we're going to be going much faster.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a part of that kind of organization, you can actually make a difference. A single person out of 400 can become visible in everybody's eyes. And then you're lifted, as somebody who is contributing to the common cause. Not always the case in companies in technology.
Sure. You're absolutely right. There's a different culture even here in Texas. There's very much a bootstrap culture. It's like you pull yourself out. These tiny
Yeah.
baby bootstraps from when you're young. You just keep pulling yourself up. There's the guaranteed trust that's hard to earn, and it's hard to. It's never, like you said, it's rarely given. And I think that does showcase a level of culture that's needed.
And a final thing that I would mention is that we want to go with a very flat organization. So we have a relatively wide organization, but very flat. So I actually haven't gone into our organization tree and looked at how many levels we have, but I can certainly promise you that there are no more than 5 layers from CEO to anybody else, maybe even only 4. So this means that in a way, the amount of independence and authority that people have over their own work is high.
That's great.
And this is,
Yeah.
I think that it takes a little bit of time to build that informed captain culture, but once you get that going, speed is there.
Yeah. What else
You
do you
get
look for?
completely different kind of speed when you have
Right.
400 people times 1.8 kilos of brain power,
Right.
driving the company versus a few individuals where you centralize innovation.
Informed captain. I like that a lot. I like that. What else do you look for in a great captain to sit around the leadership table with you? You mentioned empathy and trust and going out of their way to help anyone.
Open agenda, that you talk openly about what is on the agenda, no hidden agendas.
Yeah.
Always working from the benefit of the whole company. Everybody in the leadership team is responsible for something, but you look at the good of the whole. Because then everybody else will also look at it the same way, so that you are going to be in a good place. Absolute transparency and openness, both within the leadership team, also with their own teams, and always acting from the right kind of motivations, from the good. Also, good people managers. That's an absolute must. And good people management, define it. I would say excellent coaches and mentors to people, not giving orders what to do. That's the last thing that you got to do. You got to show the way and let people find. The river will find its flow, right? It may bump into a tree or a rock or something in the forest every once in a while, but it will find its way. And our job is to support that. So coaching and mentoring skills are absolutely crucial. And I appreciate very much people say things the way they are. Yeah. That's also a very Finnish thing. The Dutch and the Finns in Europe are very well known for being very open and direct. Yeah. Sometimes even to the level of, to the level of being a bit blunt. But I appreciate that, and you don't have to guess what people think, but naturally you need to have respect. You say it in a way that, for instance, when you give feedback, you take the egos out. Yeah. Take the egos out, and then once again, when you are straight and you give that feedback, then once again, the organization and individuals in it develop much faster instead of holding back and then, throwing a bomb 7 months later that, why
Right.
did you do, Chris? Why did you behave like this in that meeting? And
Right.
you never told me? That
Right.
was unfair.
Yeah, it's just a zombie waiting to come out of the ground later, right?
But hey, Chris, these
Yeah.
are universal things. This is nothing specific to F-Secure or Finland or the US for that matter. I think these are pretty universal things.
Have y'all dealt with the inflated comp demands? Have salaries skyrocketed in the last few years for you too?
It's difficult. It depends a little bit in the market. If you look in the like New York region, which is one of the areas for us, you look into Paris, Munich, London, lethal. Very tough, very tough.
Yeah.
But then a bit more modest in some other areas. Let's put it that way. But yes, there's pressure everywhere. But I think that this, in a way, increases the importance of strong culture. That if there is a stronger culture where people feel good about the environment where they are working, then you have a much better chance to retain people, and you don't always have to, meet the highest bidder.
Right.
Our attrition is higher than what it used to be. It's way below what it is in average in the US. But our voluntary attrition is now double digit, which we haven't had, I don't think, ever. So it's clearly a few percent points too high. So we'd like to see it somewhere, let's say between 8 and 10% maybe. That would be still okay for a tech company.
Right.
We have a few percent points to work on, and we believe that when we start setting up now more formal programs for people to develop themselves towards the kind of skills and capabilities that each and every one of them want to get stronger at,
yeah,
we're going to be in a better place. But yes, there's been pressure, but
sure.
I think that as the stock market is taking a heavy hit everywhere, especially tech companies, I think that the time for extravagant salary increases and raises
right
should be over.
Hopefully,
now.
Evens out a bit more, right?
Yeah, it should. Inflation doesn't help,
right.
But if companies are suffering to some extent, and startups may, for instance, be in a tighter spot,
they are.
It's going to be harder to make those massive offers.
Yeah, absolutely right. What other talent challenges are you facing right now? We mentioned a little bit about culture and retention. What else? What are the talent
I would
challenges?
say that there's a few different ones. So F-Secure is working in consumer security. So we have endpoint protection capabilities, identity, privacy, connected home, password management type of services. And when you look at the different kinds of people we need in these functions, in R&D, in product management, in sales, partner development, and so forth, very different skills needed. And I would say that the biggest problems are really finding people with cybersecurity development and research experience. We can still find good people for software development, but the cybersecurity combo with software development, that's a tough one. We're struggling all the time. Another one is that when we go to market, 80% of our business is through partners. They may be communication service providers, insurance companies, banks, even utilities companies are providing our services to their consumer customers. These are long-term partnerships that build on value. And it's not like you're here today, gone tomorrow. So we need to find people in sales who have this staying power to do the right thing, not just to go for the quick deal and make a deal so that you can make this quarter's target, but you have to do it in a way that your partner is actually getting the benefit out of the services for real, And then over time, you see the growth the way that you should see, and you make your numbers. In a way, it's like, don't go for the win for that one quarter only. Go for the win in quarters 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so forth.
Right.
And do the thing that is right for the partner. Finding these kind of people is not easy. It's not easy. And we have I would say that we've managed to build a very strong culture, that we have people like this, but finding more is never easy. It's always quite a tough job, but and every once in a while it doesn't go right. But I'm very proud of the people we have in our commercial team, and it starts from our leaders who are that way themselves. So they have an eye and nose for the right kind of talent, and I hail them for that.
How are you all dealing with work from home or return to office and all the challenges and security concerns with setting up in your
Complete
house?
flexibility. People work from where they want to work.
That's
So,
great.
I mean, it's absolutely silly for us to say that we would mandate some kind of, you have to be at the office 2 days a week, or you have to do this, that, or the other. No, it won't work that way. Some people want to primarily work from home, like practically all the time. And for them, actually, we're building a completely new office building, which is going to be ready. We're going to be moving in 2024, 2 years from now, built from wood.
Completely from wood. Okay.
Yes, very environmentally friendly.
That's
And
wild.
it will be like the future, the office of the future. And one of the main things over there is that we have different kinds of concepts that we're developing right now to give people reason to come together and do things together.
Yeah.
Right? Even the ones who would, prefer to do 90% of their work at home and by themselves and have the ability to focus fully. But we want to give people an environment where they can do meaningful things as a team, and also have fun while doing so. But it's freedom is the word, and
Yeah.
you do things the way that helps you be the best version of yourself. We know that group dynamics are not always something that a techie would appreciate. They feel that no, I'm at my best, and I have my headset on and I listen to good music, and I'm working on my stuff.
Yeah.
But there are matters in group dynamics that actually make people go higher, stronger, further, right? So we need to give these people good reasons, because they want to come together.
That's right.
Not because they have to. That's it.
Is there any videos yet of the design, the 100% wood, and how that's going to look? Is there anything?
We have design how the office is going to look like from the outside, and we're working with architects and interior designers and people who make human workplaces. We're designing with them how the concepts are going to be inside. But from the outside, I think that's something like 4 months ago, we announced this, and there are some pictures, for instance, on LinkedIn, how our office will be looking like. But it's wooden. And this is very new in Finland. This is a country of forests, like very much the same way as Canada, but we've been just building out of concrete and brick and steel from the past 50 years, and now we're going back to where we started.
That's great. So definitely follow F-Secure for updates there. Is there any other areas you feel like F-Secure is innovating in ways that no one else is right now?
I think that the one big thing in consumer cybersecurity is that the industry is broken in a way. All vendors are providing different kinds of products to customers, talking about those products with terms that nobody understands, or very few people understand, unless they are, somehow tech savvy or enthusiasts in security. Very difficult to understand. Very difficult to understand the value of the service when you've actually installed something. Is it doing something for me? What is it doing for me? Does the service talk to me? Does it tell me what it's doing for me, or what kind of threats are out there? And actually, don't worry, Chris, you're fine. And then, I bought this and that product. Am I now safe or am I not? People don't understand. It's just way too complex. And this is the number one challenge that we want to take on. We will take the bull by the horns and start working this whole, let's say, customer experience from discovering services to taking those into use, using them, renewing them, and feeling safe. The sense of security.
Right.
We want to get that right. There's lots of technology that is underneath the hood. There's lots of absolute top-notch cybersecurity that is needed, but it is the experience part that we feel is broken. That's the one we're going to be leading in.
Experience.
And if there's a space that people should watch, this is the one.
Experience. All right, we'll be watching.
Service experience for consumer
That's
security.
right.
Yeah.
Well, any other stories you want to share before we close, or any other pieces of wisdom you want to share with our audience?
I think I've given it all.
That's great. Thank you again, Timo, for the time. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
the insights. If anyone's watching, keep following Timo. If you haven't followed yet, and follow F-Secure for some of these exciting updates. Thank you again, though, for taking the time. It was fun. We'll see you again soon.